One of the NBA's brightest young stars is unquestionably Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Devin averaged in 2018 and 2019 a career high of 27 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. Yet his team still had the second worst record in the entire league. He's a pure scorer who's a risk every night to absolutely light it up from all over the court. So why can't he manage to get his team more wins, and why have the Suns not made the playoffs ever since he arrived? The Phoenix Suns haven't made the playoffs since the 2010-2011 season, back when Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire were still playing with Alvin Gentry as their coach. Wow. Since then, the entire franchise has been an absolute mess, with more than 6 coaches in the last 7 years and things not looking up for the future. Going to the bottom of the standings and tanking when rebuilding your franchise has been a popular approach in the NBA, and we've even seen some teams manage to pull it off. The NBA is set up where teams with the worst records in the league are able to get the top picks in the NBA draft. The problem is that Phoenix has had a total of 24 draft picks since 2011, and in the last 8 years, arguably only 2 of them have really turned out to be anything relevant in the entire league. The first one being DeAndre Ayton, who was picked number 1 in the 2018 draft, who just averaged 16 and 10 last season. And then, yup, you guessed it, Devin Booker with the 13th pick in 2015. Despite having Ayton to play with going forward, the Suns have missed out on some of the best NBA talent, which includes names such as Luka Doncic, Trae Young, and De'Aaron Fox, to name a few. Their efforts to draft talent to put around Booker or acquire complementary role players has failed miserably, and the franchise is constantly in the news for all of the wrong reasons. Now, don't get me wrong, they have drafted some good young talent, but nothing really with star potential from at least what we've seen. Kevin Arnovitz, who's a writer for ESPN, called it in a recent article a, quote, messy and dysfunctional front office. This is all mainly due to Suns owner Robert Sarver, who many in the media have openly called him, quote, the worst owner in the NBA. Ouch. I encourage you to read this article on screen, and I'll link it down in the description, because some of the stories in here are hilarious and give tons of context into the situation. Since the departure of Mike D'Antoni from the franchise in 2008, the Suns have employed 4 general managers and 7 head coaches. During those 11 years, Sarver has been the only consistent person even in Phoenix. He was the sole decision maker on the execs, and even signed off on all of the coaching hires. As reported by everyone who's ever worked in the Suns front office, Sarver's involvement is what makes it difficult to lead. But what does all this have to do with Devin Booker anyways? The problem is that if he was available on the trade market, there would be incredible demand from him from other teams. He's only 22, averaging 27 points per game, and is a knockdown 3-point shooter amongst some of the best shooters in the entire world. He can shoot the mid-range, put the ball on the floor and create his own shot, finish at the rim, but most importantly, space the floor for his teammates. For the last 4 years, he's been nothing but a solo act, and has shown that every single year, he just keeps on getting better and better. If you look at his points per game averages throughout his first 4 NBA seasons, he goes from averaging 14 to 22 to 25, and now 27 last year. Another key thing to note about Devin is that he recently signed a 5-year rookie scale max contract extension, which doesn't even kick in until this next following season. Last year, he made a total of $3.3 million. That's it. Lots of young NBA players always sign that first big contract as they can get the most money from the team who drafted them. However, this doesn't mean that he couldn't try to leave. With so much player movement happening nowadays, it becomes a question to NBA fans, when is Booker going to just put his foot down and force his way out of a bad situation? We just saw a few days ago Paul George signed a max contract the summer before and went on stage at Russell Westbrook's house saying he wanted to stay with the Thunder. This didn't stop him from forcing his way out and making himself get traded to the Clippers to team up with Kawhi Leonard. All Devin would have to do is demand a trade, say he doesn't want to be there, say that he wants out, and say that he's unhappy. With a horrible owner, front office, and coaching, I honestly don't think that anyone would blame him. Could you imagine if Booker could find his way onto a team like the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, or even the Spurs? It just seems like he's completely wasting his talent with a team like Phoenix, who, despite saying 7 years ago they were going to rebuild, have only 2 players of any relevance to even show for it. The West is the deepest it has ever been, and even with major moves, the Phoenix Suns have no shot of even even making the playoffs for years to come. Can you imagine what a good situation, a competent front office, and consistent coaching would do for Devin? It could unlock parts of his game that we haven't even seen yet. He is clearly built for this NBA with his ability to shoot, pull up in the mid-range, take you off the dribble, and his 6'6" frame. He's putting up these incredible numbers, but none of them even mean a thing due to the team that he plays for. He has said recently that he feels like his team is comfortable with losing, and he clearly isn't happy with the organization's culture and plan going forward. Now, of course, in interviews he's going to say all the right things, but for someone who's already playing so well at such a young age, why would you waste valuable years of your career playing somewhere that doesn't even prioritize winning? This is based on an assumption that Devin clearly cares deeply about winning, but if it's the contrary and he just wants to live somewhere warm and make a ton of money, then hey man, do what you do. Another player who was in a bad situation was Kevin Garnett, and he played 12 seasons for the Timberwolves and made the playoffs 8 times. However, he lost in the first round 7 of those 8 times, and eventually moved on to Boston, where he won a championship with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. However, after in his retirement, he did have some interesting words to future NBA players in similar situations to ones that he was in. Kevin Garnett said, quote, "If I could go back and do my situation over, knowing what I know now with this organization," talking about the Celtics, "I'd have done it a lot sooner." Anthony Davis, who forced his way out of New Orleans, said that these comments made his decision to act easier. When you think of Devin Booker, really makes you think. Another thing that blows my mind is that it is reported that the Suns themselves don't see Devin Booker as a winner and have speculated about trading him for assets to assist in their rebuild. Like, what? The issue is that if you trade Booker for draft picks, what you're hoping to draft is just another Devin Booker. Honestly, the Phoenix Suns are an absolute laughingstock at this point, and I didn't even mention the owner's dispute with the city of Phoenix to subsidize the repairs of the arena, or his threats that he'll move the team to a different city and so on. But what do you think? Do you think Booker would be better off somewhere else? Should he want to leave? Where should he go? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. But either way, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.